WHTM, TV 27, Harrisburg. From the heart of Pennsylvania, here's Rick Wagner with tonight's news. The Chuck Rhodes Weather Outlook. And the Greg May Sports Report. This is 27 News Tonight.
Good evening. Government hearings into the worst accident in Amtrak history are now underway in Baltimore. A York County man who was conductor of the Amtrak train involved in the January wreck was among those called to testify today. But much of the interest surrounded the testimony of the assistant conductor. More on the story from Bettina Gregory.
The Amtrak passenger train hit the Conrail train from the rear, derailing and flattening a number of cars, killing 16 people and injuring more than 170 others. The safety board is trying to determine what caused the crash and why the Conrail train ran a stop signal out onto the main track. But the first witnesses focused on a different issue. Baltimore County firefighter Lieutenant Richard Brooks testified he smelled alcohol on the breath of one of 4 assistant conductors on the Amtrak train.
His first syllable threw a blast, excuse me, a blast of air into my face. It was obvious that there was quite a bit of alcohol on the breath.
The assistant conductor, Sterling Spivey, denied he'd been drinking.
Did you drink any alcoholic beverages before coming on to work?
No, sir.
Once you were on duty?
No, sir.
How about on the scene after the accident?
No, sir.
Other crew members supported Spivey's contention he had not been drinking, but none of the Amtrak crew members were tested for alcohol or drugs. Chairwoman Pat Goldman revealed 2 key witnesses the Conrail crew would not testify.
As we have been advised by their attorneys that they will invoke the privilege against self-incrimination.
Even though the Conrail engineer, Ricky Gates, will not testify at this hearing, the board has already determined that Gates ran several signals telling him to slow down, and toxicological tests showed there were traces of marijuana found in his body at the time of the crash. Bettina Gregory, ABC News, Baltimore.
Conductor Donald Kesey of York County told the investigators he would have undergone drug and alcohol tests if officials had asked him to. Tonight, authorities at the Chester Crozier Burn Center near Philadelphia confirmed that a 4-year-old Lancaster boy has died from burns suffered in a fire last week. 4-year-old George McDonald Jr. was rescued from the 2nd floor of a home in the 400 block of St. Joseph Street on Friday. The boy's father, 41-year-old George McDonald, was also critically burned in the fire, was transported by helicopter to the same burn center. He remains in critical condition tonight. Nearly 4,000 customers of Pennsylvania Power and Light Company were without service tonight because of 2 separate blackouts. The first outage occurred about 6:30 and knocked out power to virtually the entire borough of New Cumberland for about a half an hour. And that outage was blamed on an insulation problem. About an hour later, more than 600 customers in Dauphin County lost power because of an equipment failure in Swedera Township. A spokesman for the company says all power was scheduled to be back on the line by midnight. Dauphin County School District is struggling with the problem of overcrowding in its schools. Tonight, the Susquehanna Township School Board was scheduled to make a decision on the problem, but as Cynthia Steele reports, there's still no final solution.
Overcrowding in the Susquehanna Township schools has been the thorn in the side of parents and school board members for some time. A task force spent months studying the problem and came up with possible plans, several of which were very unpopular.
If the kindergarten students would be sent to the middle school, as is one of the proposals, my child won't attend the Susquehanna Township School District.
The decision that was made was to accept an interim plan and give the school board more time to look into a permanent building plan or the reopening of the Progress building.
A final decision was expected, but only a short-term solution materialized.
To solve the situation for September as far as crowding is concerned at the elementary level and gave themselves more time to look at the options that might be involved in coming up with a more permanent solution, whether it be construction or reopening of Progress.
The overcrowding at Sarah Linda Muth will be solved for the next year by the use of 2 new modular units. The cost for the design, delivery, and installation will run approximately $19,000. The school board intends to take a hard look at the problem this summer at their next meeting, after they've had access to more detailed studies of the cost of possibly building or reopening Progress. But for parents, the real relief is they are no longer discussing merging the students.
I was very happy that they did not discuss sending 5th grade to the middle school. I think many of the parents and those of us parents on the task force were very concerned that 5th grade would go to the middle school.
Although no firm decisions were made here tonight, both school board members and parents seem to have agreed to take a wait-and-see attitude until June. Cynthia Steele, 27 News Tonight, Susquehanna Township.
The school board says it wants to move the kindergarten classes into the modular units to free up classroom space in the main building for older students. If you lived through the 60s, you probably have vivid recollections of the racial tensions that led to riots and marches and the Voting Rights Act. But high school students can only read about that period of American history or talk to the people who remember. Becky Franco was in Swadera Township today to see how students are keeping that memory alive.
High school students from 4 counties listened to the sounds of a Harrisburg gospel group this morning. To many of them, racial problems that dominated the 60s don't exist anymore. But speaker after speaker told them about the challenges each faced as a black trying to succeed.
There was an air of, you know, if you're black, that there were certain accomplishments that you couldn't make. If you put in an application somewhere, automatically it was going to be thrown into a trash can somewhere.
Representing 29 schools, these students meet about 6 times a year. They came up with the idea of learning more about what officials call contemporary black history.
A whole thing called prejudice, ethnic influences of concern.
These students born after the 60s want more black history than their high school history classes are providing. It's difficult for both black and white students to understand some of the past and current problems affecting blacks.
Because we didn't live through it, we want to know more about it. And that's why it is strange to hear about things, because today we really don't think about it.
11th grader Angelique Watson says black speakers she heard this morning have paved the way for her.
And I'm trying to follow to help, but I'm just not sure exactly where to start and then where I'm supposed to lead. And it's just difficult for me.
Students were told if they really want to become involved, they should go to meetings and campaign for keeping the new name of King Boulevard in downtown Harrisburg. That's just one of many issues symbolizing what blacks have been fighting for.
I mean, we've been fighting the odds all of our lives, and so therefore it's nothing to have what seems to be insurmountable problems for us or hurdles to get over. We can make it.
Becky Franco, 27 News, Swadera Township.
Still ahead on 27 News tonight, a Money Beat report on how threatening transactions or sanctions against Japan are affecting Wall Street.
It came time for a new family car. I looked at Oldsmobile. Then I saw this Ford Taurus at my Quality Plus Ford dealer. This award winner made Car and Driver magazine's 10 Best list, and it's priced over $1,200 less than the Delta 88. The Olds family car might have remembered the family, but they sure forgot about the price. I bought the Ford Taurus.
Get 3.9% financing or up to $400 cash back on every new Ford Taurus.
I'm going for a big deal, want a home-cooked meal. Going for the big fresh taste over at Big Boy.
Why cook tonight? Big Boy's got new Chicken International dinners for just $3.99. Chicken Polynesian, American, Italian, and Oriental stir-fry. Live a little.
Oh, I'm going for the big fresh taste over at Big Boy. Yeah, over at Big Boy.
Tonight on Nightline, should you act now to increase the intelligence of your infant later in life? What some parents are doing to raise super kids and the controversy over their methods tonight.
If you ever wasted a Saturday trying to replace a cheap tension spring or a sheared pin, this needs to be your new mower. If you ever killed a Sunday by chewing up a drive belt or burning out a bearing, this needs to be your new mower. This is a John Deere, and because it's built so well, you can get something from a John Deere that you can't always depend on with other mowers. You can get done.
Excuse me, why don't you use a food processor?
They're not for me. Too big, too complicated, too hard to clean.
Not anymore.
Cute. What is it?
The Oscar food processor from Sunbeam.
How's it work?
Put in the onion.
Quick.
Beef.
Powerful. Let me. I could use Oscar every day. It's even easy to clean.
Mm-hmm. It sure is.
Oscar stays with me.
Oscar, the food processor for all of us, from Sunbeam.
You're watching 27 News Tonight with Rick Wagner.
One of the U.S. Marines accused of spying for the Soviets says he cooperated because he was interested in knowing what the Soviet agents wanted to know about U.S. secrets. In documents released by his attorney, Sergeant Clayton Lonetree says he acted partly because of what the white man did to the Indian. Lonetree is an American Indian. Meanwhile, the State Department says all 28 Marines guarding the U.S. Embassy in Moscow will be replaced next month as a precautionary measure. Last Friday, the White House accused the Japanese of ignoring a trade agreement on computer chips and announced plans to slap tariffs on Japanese electronics as retaliation. Well, that announcement sent shockwaves that were felt on Wall Street today. George Richards has more in tonight's Money Beat.
Wall Street had its version of the Chicken Little story today, only it wasn't the sky that was falling, it was stocks. When the New York Exchange opened this morning, the Dow Jones dropped 80 points. Analysts say Japanese investors who would help to boost the U.S. market in recent weeks suddenly began selling their stock. For a time this morning, it was as if the market was in a free fall. Fortunately for investors, the market managed to stabilize. The Dow regained some of its ground, but not all of it. At the close, the Dow Jones was off more than 57 points to close at 2278. More than 200 million shares changed hands on what was a big day for losers. Declining stocks led advancing issues by a 15-2 margin. And it was a very busy day for Japanese money traders. The U.S. dollar hit a record low against the Japanese yen during hectic trading in Tokyo today. For American consumers, it means Japanese imports like cars and TVs could be more expensive in the future. The slumping dollar, therefore, becomes a major problem for the export-dependent Japanese. Closer to home, the Sharmanstown-based Rite Aid Corporation says it had improved earnings last year. Officials with the drugstore chain said 12-month sales increased more than 12%. Net income last year was up more than 14%. The improvements were tied to better retail drug sales and the addition of 194 drugstores to the Rite Aid chain. And finally, if you're planning to build a home and are looking for a low-interest mortgage loan, then you may be eligible for loan monies being released by the state this Wednesday. The Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency is offering 30-year fixed-rate loans at 7.5% interest. The loans are subject to income limits and purchase price of the newly constructed home. If you're interested, here's a toll-free number, 1-800-822-1174. The number again, 1-800-822-1174. With Money Beat, I'm George Richards, 27 News Tonight.
The president of Penn State University is among the educators asking for more money from the Casey administration. The college presidents say more state dollars are needed to prevent tuition increases at Temple, Pitt, and Lincoln University, as well as Penn State. The final appropriation amounts will be the result of negotiations between the Casey administration and legislative leaders. Farmers out west are hoping that the wintry weather they've been getting this spring will break soon so they can avoid big financial problems. They've had trouble getting into the fields for spring planting. And snow plows were out in Kansas again today, trying to clear away the snow that stranded travelers over the weekend. And still ahead on 27 News Tonight, Chuck Rhodes tells us how the early spring storms will affect central Pennsylvania.
The young lady for the tonsillectomy.
First time I was here, I was 10, and they took my tonsils out. Now I manage this hospital. And for communications, I rely on GTE. When we added this wing, our GTE account manager even helped us tie into nationwide medical data networks. And GTE service is untapped 24 hours a day.
She's going to be fine.
Any messages?
Sure, on your terminal.
It takes a lot to satisfy us, but GTE does.
The heat's on during your Toyota dealer's Spring Fever sales event, but it's almost over. Toyota dealers are making their hottest deals of the year on every Toyota in stock right now, like the new Tercel EZ, the lowest priced Toyota of all. Spring for a deal on a hot MR2 or exciting FX16. Right now, dealer incentives on the FX16 could save you hundreds more. Don't wait, stock is moving fast. Your Toyota dealer's Spring Fever sales event. Hurry, it's almost over.
Grandpa Stroman knows getting your kids to eat whole wheat isn't always easy.
But Stroman's new fiber goodness bread is changing all that. Made with pure vegetable fiber, this white bread has as much fiber as 100% whole wheat. So you can give your kids the white bread they love and the fiber they'll eat for a balanced diet. New fiber goodness. I make sure the goodness is baked in.
The tax changes that they've written here on Capitol Hill for 1987 are the most sweeping in history.
H&R Block knows you're concerned. This year, put them on your side. They're pledged to finding you the biggest refund you're entitled to.
Get back everything you've got coming.
I couldn't have done it without you.
No way. I couldn't have done it without H&R Block.
H&R Block, where more Americans find a bigger refund.
What can we find for you?
You're watching 27 News Tonight, featuring Chuck Rhodes weather.
Believe it or not, travelers' advisories are out tonight for western PA.
Well, actually, the problem they're watching will not take effect until tomorrow, but the fact that we're talking about them, this isn't supposed to happen this time of year. It has happened in the past. We have snow in April already, but yeah, I don't like it. But that's putting it. That's one of the weather terms we learned at the schools they send us to. It's an unknown place, and probably for a good reason it's unknown. But you'll see why. It's yuck with a capital Y, and that all starts later tonight through tomorrow. Big change in the weather, and then hopefully by the end of the week we get back a little bit closer to where we should be as we move into a brand new month. And this ain't no fooling on April the Fool's Day. Look what we did today, though, before the bottom started to fall out. The high today was 60, the low was 53, the normal is 56 and 36. There you see, that was just a little while ago before the rain picked up again down on Market Street. And kind of quiet, not much happening there. And at this hour, it is raining again. It started to pick up a few minutes ago, 54 degrees, humidity 96%, southeast wind at 10. The barometer's 29.62, and as you might expect, it's going down as that low-pressure area works its way at us from the south. The river stage is 5.71 feet. It's holding steady, and that's expected to rise as the rain comes in. And again, people in the low-lying areas want to keep an eye on that, particularly early tomorrow morning. The Channel 27 rain bucket had 0.16 inches in it when we put that in the machine, but since then, we just turned around a few minutes ago, picked up another 1/10 of an inch on top of that. This is what it looked like at 6 o'clock. Most of the clouds were to the east of us and the west of us, and now you can see at 11 o'clock, or actually at midnight, you see this thing moving in from the west. Most of the clouds, again, do represent an area of precipitation, and what's going on, it is very wet on this side, warm, moist air, and very cold but dry coming in from the west. The contrast is causing all the problems. They have a winter storm warning out for much of this area for tomorrow. Some sections tonight will pick up 4 to 8 inches of snow, and some sections tomorrow another 3 to 4 inches, particularly in western Pennsylvania and up in the mountains. If you have any travel plans and you're going this way during the day tomorrow, you might want to call ahead and check it out. I know we thought we were done for that maybe for the year, but that's not the case. Some of the higher elevations, even in the viewing area, some of the higher elevations could pick up some accumulations during the day tomorrow, and it doesn't take much. A lot of people took their snow tires off last weekend. I don't blame them. My appointment was canceled. I'd have been with you. Look at this front. Moving to the east. Here's that colder air moving in. This low is the next storm we're watching. It's not moving to the east. It's moving this direction, bringing the rain with it. This is the latest radar. You can see now it's over top of us. This is some snow mixed in here and also through parts of Indiana, down through northern Kentucky. This is where they have the bulk of the real heavy stuff. And as far as thunderstorms, it's all off the Carolina coastline. This is moving east-northeast. This is moving northeast behind it. What we're looking for is all this to be out of here, but it's going to take another 24 hours to do it. Look at the forecast, the national picture for tonight, just lots of clouds. There's that storm just chugging very slowly to the east, and forecast map for tomorrow shows it being right over top of us with snow coming in behind it. And then on Wednesday, it continues to move to the east very slowly with some improvement. Even on Thursday, it'll improve, but by Friday, some of this will come down again with a chance of some more, like we need it, showers. That's the cooler air coming in. Look at the difference as it moves in from the west 30s. On our side, including 54 degrees, under cloudy skies with some rain coming in here now. And for the rest of tonight, we have periods of rain or drizzle. Tomorrow, periods of rain in the morning, then turning cooler in the afternoon with temperatures falling into the low 40s. Tomorrow night, a variety of clouds, but windy and cold, lows 30 to 34. Wednesday, a partly sunny day, high of 40 to 44 degrees. Thursday, well, we extend the forecast. It'll be partly cloudy. It'll be dry, but the high of 43 degrees. And Friday, back to a chance of showers. Not a big chance. Highs back into the 40s. So, Rick, winter and March wants to go out with one more just before it goes out. So we'll watch it.
One more what?
Yeah. Like Louis De Palma on Taxi, he came up with that.
When 27 News Tonight returns, we're going to hear from one Syracuse fan who is really upset.
Your Chevy dealers are pleased to announce Cashback continues. For a limited time, you get 3.9 financing or up to $600 cash back on a new Chevy S10 pickup or Blazer, plus up to $750 in savings on popular options. If you need a full-size pickup, your Chevy dealer has 3.9 financing or $500 cash back on 1/2 and 3/4 ton trucks and a 4-speed automatic transmission worth $735 at no extra charge. But don't wait. These deals end soon.
Imagine stepping into life 200 years ago in Colonial Williamsburg. A living, breathing, working town. A town waiting to be discovered, experienced, explored. Another way of life is waiting for you. See it. Live it. For information, call 1-800-HISTORY and come to Colonial Williamsburg.
Shop us first. Shop Father and Son. For quality athletic shoes, 2 pairs just $25.
Shop us first.
For Pro 500s that go anywhere and do anything, 2 pairs just $25.
Shop us first.
For fast action athletic shoes, on the quarter off, any 2 pairs just $25.
Shop us first.
For the latest styles and colors, Father and Son has them all. 2 pairs just $25. For style, selection, and savings,
Father and Son. Shop us first.
Hurry, hurry, hurry! Ladies and gentlemen,
May we present for your entertainment
those daring young men on their flying trapeze.
I used to do that until I grew out of the tights.
That daring young woman at the end of her rope.
Hooray!
And some daring young dogs on the tips of their toes.
This is a 3-ring circus around here. What is it?
It's the greatest show on earth. Circus Week on the Hollywood Square.
Watch Hollywood Squares weeknights at 7:30 on WHTM, Channel 27. You're watching 27 News Tonight, featuring Greg Mace on sports.
You are looking at one very disappointed Orangeman tonight. It ain't me.
Sad, very sad. Well, they should have done this. They should have called the big T at the
It's
end.
only a point, for heaven's sakes.
That was
It's
a
a
great
good team.
It was a great game, and
But they lost.
They lost. Well, listen, it's only a game. It's only a game. A 1-point game. What a great ball game tonight. Indiana won the NCAA basketball championship. 1-point game, and Syracuse has nothing to be ashamed of. But I'll never figure out, as long as I'm associated with this school, why didn't they do this at the end, huh? You'll see what we mean. This one went back and forth. There's Indiana with a basketball and off the miss. Dean Garrett's going to slam this one home, and Indiana had the early lead. But Syracuse came right back to get the steal, and here's Greg Monroe. He's going to take it all the way for the hoop, and he gets fouled. All right, then Syracuse started to take control. Watch Ronnie Cycli here. This is kind of a missed shot. Turns into an alley-oop, and he slams it home. Now at the end of the first half, Steve Alford hits the bomb here, and this was a sign of things to come, and Indiana had the halftime lead. Then Keith Smart, what a great game this guy had. Scored every basket down the stretch. He ties the game at 70 right here. Now with 52 seconds left, Syracuse has got the ball. Howard Trish right there. Syracuse led by 2, and the cheerleader kind of says it all here. Syracuse with a 3-point lead with 30 seconds. It's Keith Smart again hitting another shot. Syracuse goes to the line. They miss a free throw. With 5 seconds left, here's Smart for the win. Now, after he hits, why doesn't Syracuse call timeout? I mean, they would have had 4 seconds to get off a decent shot. Instead, what do they get? This long desperation shot here. No way they were going to make that. Indiana picks it off, and with it, Indiana wins the championship 74-73.
It was a team effort the whole year. I mean, not only the 5 guys who are here right now, but everyone that has anything to do with Indiana. We were together from October the 15th and before that, and we were together until the end. I think that shot there, any one of the 5 or any one of the players on the team could hit that shot.
It doesn't feel good.
Well, it didn't feel good for Jim Boeheim, is right. Listen, these teams could play 100 times, and each would win 50. I mean, what a great game. Indiana made the plays. They deserve the win. The Hershey Bears are off until Wednesday. They start a big home-and-home series against Baltimore. The Bears need 1 win to wrap up the 4th and final playoff spot. Tonight in the National Hockey League, the Rangers hurting the North Stars' chances, 6-5 winners tonight. Well, while we await the Hagler-Leonard fight, Mike Tyson gets set to knock somebody else out. The heavyweight champ today announced He'll fight Pinklin Thomas on May the 30th. You got to defend against somebody. Orioles rookie sensation Jim Traber is back in the minor leagues. Traber replaced Eddie Murray at first base when Murray was injured. Traber had 10 home runs in 32 games last season. But with Eddie healthy, Traber is back in the minors.
Don't get down. Listen, Syracuse is a young team. They got the big man Cycli back. He's only a junior. They'll be back next year.
They are a great team. And listen, look at 260 teams in the NCAA Division I. Nothing to be ashamed of. Great game.
It's unfair. They lose by one. Well, anyway.
Bobby Knight's still a jerk, though.
And you're still bitter, aren't you?
Yeah.
Still ahead on 27 News tonight, a recap of the top winners of the Oscars and some journalists faced with a no-smoking proposal.
You've been seeing this Duncannon on billboards, and you're wondering, what's it all about? Well, it's a symbol for what's coming your way from McGuire Sport in Duncannon. This baby's loaded with McGuire's best ammunition against car-buying blues. They have selection, savings, and service. Oh, my. So when you hear the Duncannon, think, oops.
See why it's so easy to get involved with Oprah.
So your husband would lock you in the basement every morning and you would let him?
Yes, I did, because I loved him.
People tell Oprah what they feel.
Just because of his drinking, I'll never forgive him.
And Oprah understands.
And that's why I left, because I didn't want to die. I just wanted a break. I wanted my kids to have a good life.
Getting involved with the Oprah Winfrey Show, it's easy.
Watch the Oprah Winfrey Show, weekdays at 4 on WHTM.
Drug and alcohol abuse affects production morale and safety. You can't afford to ignore it. I referred a lot of employees to Cadenza's Employee Assistance Service, and it worked. Now they're our best employees.
When we send our people to Cadenza, we know they're getting the finest service available. Firing a troubled employee is not the answer. Cadenza is.
Our employee assistance program was tailored to our needs and saved us thousands of dollars, too.
Cadenza has been helping people help themselves for 18 years. We know our business. Let us help yours. Call us at 238-4200.
But I want to tell you something important there. Very often, and I do not mind if I sound like a broken record, very often I say to a person, can you talk to your priest? Can you talk to your minister? Can you talk to your rabbi or a therapist? Because very often these are not questions that can be solved over the air, but what can be done over the air is to say, do something about it.
For the truth, ask Dr. Ruth. Weekdays at 9 on WHTM. You're watching 27 News Tonight with Rick Wagner.
The stereotype of the cigar-chomping reporter could be a thing of the past, at least the state capitol. The journalists there are considering a proposal that would ban smoking in the Capitol newsroom, and the president of the Legislative Correspondents Association thinks that plan has a good chance of winning final approval.
I'm a little bit surprised that this thing seems to be going through with not a great deal of opposition. Some of our more militant smokers were polled about this, and they said that they could live with this. And so I guess it's a decline in the raffishness of reporters, yes.
The journalists will take a final vote on April 10th. And finally, if you're just now tuning in, you may be interested in the winners of the Academy Awards tonight. This year, the Best Picture went to Platoon, which portrayed the horrors of the Vietnam War. Its director, Oliver Stone, also won the Best Director Award. In the other categories, Paul Newman was named Best Actor for his role in The Color of Money. Marlee Matlin was named Best Actress for her role in Children of a Lesser God. Michael Caine was named Best Supporting Actor for his role in Hannah and Her Sisters. And Diane Wiest, who also appeared in Hannah and Her Sisters, was named Best Supporting Actress. Coming up tomorrow on 27 News, we'll tell you about a program to help Hispanics in Lancaster. We'll have the story of a protest at the state capitol about the shortage of services for victims of rape. And we'll tell you about a local fashion show and what it has to do with a local charity. I rooted for the Vikings 3 times in the Super Bowl. 3 times. There is a tomorrow.
There's a tomorrow. I'm not showing those highlights again. We're going to talk about the Orioles tomorrow.
Whew. That's all right. Well, as far as the weather goes tomorrow, we're not counting on snow, but it's a strong system. It's coming at us from the west. There's a lot of cold air in behind it, so keep looking this way all during the day. It could change. That's a good idea.
That's it for 27 News Tonight. For Greg Mace, Chuck Rhodes, and the rest of the news team, I'm Rick Wagner. Thanks for watching, and have a good night.
she's got a scholarship to London Lane College.
Intelligence. Every child has an unknown potential for it.